Hey everybody, Mary Farias here, and for our 5 minutes of personal development, you can do it. You can do 5 minutes. We're talking about my book, How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So we are on page 33 in this book, a 50-cent lesson in persistence. Oh, let me start my timer. Shortly after Mr. Darby received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks, and had decided to profit by his experience in the gold mining business, he had the good fortune to be present on an occasion that proved to him that no does not necessarily mean no. One afternoon, he was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old-fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of sharecrop farmers lived. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small black child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up, saw the child, and barked at her roughly. "What do you want?" Meekly, the child replied, "My mamma said to send her 50 cents. "I'll not do it," the uncle retorted. "Now run on home." "Yes, sir," the child replied, but she did not move. The uncle went ahead with his work, so busily engaged that he did not pay enough attention to the child to observe that she did not leave. When he looked up and saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go on home. Now go, or I'll take a switch to you." The little girl said, "Yes, sir," but she did not budge an inch. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper, picked up a barrel stave, and started toward the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby held his breath. He was certain he was about to witness a murder. He knew his uncle had a fierce temper, and he knew that black children were not supposed to defy white people in that part of the country. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step, looked into his eyes, and screamed at the top of her shrill little voice, "My mama's got to have that 50 cents. The uncle stopped, looked at her for a minute, then slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor, put his hand in his pocket, and took out a $half and gave it to her. Now that, my friends, is what persistence is. We don't know if that little girl was acting out of fear on both sides, but clearly Darby was scary, right? He was a scary person for that little child, but so was her mother probably. And the fact of the matter is that she stood her ground. She knew what she wanted, and she stood there until she got it. She wasn't overly defiant, but she was defiant. She stood up for what she wanted. So when we go after our goals, the things that we want, we need to stand up. There are going to be obstacles in our way. There are going to be reasons to quit. There are going to be reasons to stop. Just like Mr. Darby gave that little girl many reasons to stop, right? But we're going to encounter all of these no matter what our goal is. When I was in gymnastics, it was hard to learn new skills and frustrating, and injuries happened and falls happened. But the fact of the matter is I had a goal up here and I needed a certain skill in order to get there. And so it was just part of the process. We have to make failure and failing a part of our learning process. Price Pritchett says in his little book, U Squared, that a rocket fails its way to the moon. There is no way that a rocket is on the exact same trajectory all the way from where it takes off and all the way to the moon. It self-corrects all the way there. We have to understand that our learning takes place through temporary defeats and failures. And so when we have this wall in front of us, we have to understand how to maneuver around it, just like that little girl in Darby. She had to maneuver around him and his no. And so we have to understand that no doesn't mean no. We just have to find a different way. So keep that in mind as you keep moving and progressing towards your goals, because there are plenty of reasons to stop. Plenty of reasons, but concentrate on why you want what you want and make that more important than the obstacle that you see in front of you. All right, that was pretty short, but I thought it was pretty good for this little patch of Think and Grow Rich. So thank you. Join me tomorrow And we'll see you then. Bye.